guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. To start off, I'm going in with the Fenty What It Do spray, and I'm just going to press that into my skin. Now I'm using the Milk HydroGrip primer. For brows, I'm using Fenty's Brow MVP in the shade Black Brown, and I just brush my brow hairs up and back and fill in the sparse area. To clean up my brows, I use my Morphe M124 brush and the Sephora and Pantone palette. I believe this is the dark one or deep. And I use a lighter shade to clean up underneath my brows. And for the top of my brows, I go in with a shade that's closer to my complexion. To blend out that concealer, I use the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. Or any dense, fluffy brush will do the job. For foundation, I'm using my Holy Grail Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Foundation in the shade 420. I take about 4 pumps of that on the back of my hand and dot it all over my face. Then I go in with the Farsali SkinTune Blur. For concealer, I'm going with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh concealer in the shade Dark 175N. This concealer is not as bright as I would like my concealer to be, so I'm also going to add the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Butterscotch right on top of the Colourpop concealer. For bronzer, I'm going in with the Fenty bronzer in the shade Chocolate, and I apply this using the Sephora Pro Foundation number 47 brush. And I just apply this to all the areas that I want to look chiseled, so my cheekbones and my jawline, and I apply a little to my temples just because I don't really bronze or contour my forehead much. I'm going back in with my damp beauty blender to make sure that's really blended. Now I'm blending in my highlighting concealer, and as I've said in previous videos, I like to let my concealer sit on my face to dry down just a little, because the coverage you get from that, just doing that step, is bomb. And the concealer doesn't spread too much, so it stays exactly where you want it to be. And I save my under eyes for last because that's where I want the most coverage. And this is a little trick I learned. If you feel like you applied too much concealer, kind of turning your sponge inward like I did and blending that way prevents it from spreading all the way to your hairline. Now I'm going in with the Fenty face brush, the number 125 brush, and the cream blush in Rosé Latte. I love this blush. This shade is so beautiful, and I just wanted to keep applying. Now I'm just going over everything with my beauty blender to make sure it's well blended. I'm setting my face with the Fenty setting powder in the shade Cashew. For the rest of my face, I'm going in with my Sephora MicroSmooth powder in the shade Deep, and I'm using my Morphe E58 brush to apply this. For bronzer, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Sun Stalk'r bronzer in the shade Coco Naughty, and I apply this using my Morphe E4 brush. Now I'm going to brush the powder away from all the areas where I placed it, except for underneath my eyes and the bridge of my nose. I'm leaving it underneath my eyes to catch any fallout from the eyeshadow palette that I'm going to be using. And on my nose, I just leave it there because I get I get oily around my nose. For primer, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Eye Primer, and I'm just going to blend that in with my finger. For eyeshadow today, I'm using the Morphe and James Charles palette, and I'm taking the shade Code James and 10% off. I'm using this fluffy blending brush from the Morphe Ice Set to place that all over my eyelid. To blend the edges of the eyeshadow, I'm going in with this BH Cosmetics V5 brush, and I didn't take any extra product on the brush. I'm just using a clean brush to blend it out. I wanted the edges to be really smooth and kind of faded. To get in the little inner eye area, I used the Morphe M224 brush with the same eyeshadow shades. For liner, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Fly liner in the shade Spaghetti Straps. It's this really beautiful coral color. And then I'm going to use the same Code James and 10% off shades from the Morphe palette. And I'm going to smudge that on to my lower lash line with the Morphe M408 brush. I'm adding a little bit more blush of the blush because I feel like I lost some of it. For highlight, I'm going with the ABH Sun Dipped Glow Kit, and I use the 2 top shades on my Morphe M438 brush. I applied a lot, so I'm just going back in with my powder brush to tone it down a bit. I'm setting my eyebrow hairs with the E.L.F. brow and lash gel. For liner, I'm using this Wet n Wild brown liner. I'm going with the Charlotte Tilbury Angel Alessandra lipstick. It is such a pretty nude color. For gloss, I'm using the Lime Crime Wet Cherry lip gloss in the shade Bitter Cherry. Now for the fun parts, I used the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb and Glass Slipper and just a flat synthetic brush to apply it right over top of my eyeshadow. And I applied my lashes first because I didn't want to have to put lashes on after I put lip gloss on my eyelid. I'm going in with this E.L.F. angled brush just to kind of smooth out the edges a little. I went ahead and applied some mascara, and I darkened my little beauty mark underneath my eye. I'm setting my face with the What It Do spray once again, and I'm just pressing that into my skin with my beauty blender. And that is the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. See you in my next one. Bye.